The January 6th committee is preparing for its next public session. For Sunday 60 Minutes, Bill Whitaker speaks with a former committee investigator about communications from inside the White House on January 6th. Here's a preview.
Did it hit you at one point that this is way bigger than it appeared in the beginning?
Absolutely. So you get a real aha moment when you see that the White House switchboard had connected to a rioter's phone while it's happening. That's a pretty big aha moment. You get an aha
Wait a minute. Someone in the White House was calling one of the rioters while the riot was going on?
On January 6th, absolutely.
And you know who both ends of that call?
I only know one end of that call. I don't know the White House end, which I believe is more important. But the thing is, the American people need to know that there are link connections that need to be explored more.
As senior technical advisor for the January 6th committee, Denver Riggleman, a former House Republican and ex-military intelligence officer, ran a data-driven operation pursuing phone records and other digital clues tied to the attack on the Capitol.
From my perspective, being in counterterrorism, if the White House, even if it's a short call and it's a connected call, who is actually making that phone call?
Is there a simple, innocent explanation for that?
Was it an accidental call from the White House that just happened to call numbers that somebody misdialed a rioter that day on January 6th? Probably not.
For more, let's bring in CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane. Scott, accused Capitol rioter Doug Jensen was found guilty on all counts Friday. What were the charges and the potential sentence he faces?
Hey, Catherine, there were 7 federal charges, some of which we've heard in many other January 6 cases, from obstruction of an official proceeding to disorderly conduct to unlawful parading and picketing. The jury convicted Doug Jensen on all 7 charges, and they did so with about 4 hours of deliberation, not including the lunch break. This is the latest Washington, D.C. jury to convict a January 6 defendant on all charges. Right now, the Justice Department is undefeated in jury trials involving defendants from the U.S. Capitol riot. It's a bit premature to estimate sentencing guidelines. There's a process in the federal system that will begin in the coming days. We know defendants who've been convicted on similar charges or in similar cases have faced the prospect of multiple years in prison. Sentencing is set for December 16th. At that point, his lawyer says Doug Jensen will make his argument for leniency.
Capitol riot defendant Stephen Ayers was sentenced Thursday to 2 months probation. Will that have an impact on other pending cases?
It should. This one really stood out, Catherine. I'm glad you asked about it. Stephen Ayers is one of about 870 U.S. Capitol riot defendants, but his case is unique. He testified and supported and participated in a hearing of the U.S. House Select January 6 Committee. That's where that image is coming from, him testifying publicly, nationally, at a hearing of the House Committee. He pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor and asked the court for leniency this week. And the judge, after hearing the arguments, showed Ayers that leniency, sentenced him to probation only, no prison time. One of the things the judge cited was that Ayers appeared to show genuine remorse in his case for what he'd done by participating with the House January 6 Select Committee. We watched the contrast earlier today as multiple other January 6 defendants went to court seeking leniency, and none of them received it. In each case, the judge says he or she was concerned those defendants were not demonstrating remorse. Judges are sending a message. The question is now, Catherine, will future defendants hear the message?
At a Texas conference, Congressman Jamie Raskin was asked by Chief Elections Correspondent Robert Costa about deleted Secret Service texts on January 6th. Let's play that.
We definitely have a lot more information than we were originally given.
About the Secret Service?
About the texts, about the Secret Service, and about what happened.
You have more texts from the Secret Service?
On January 6th. Yeah, we have a lot of communications that we did not have originally.
What gaps could those text messages potentially fill in?
Well, that really is a provocative question the committee's been grappling with through this summer. We know during the summer, when the U.S. House was not in session and the committee was not holding public hearings, according to committee members, they were undertaking their behind-the-scenes investigation, trying to collect more records, trying to undertake more depositions, and do more interviews. But the question has been, throughout this summer, What gaps are there in Secret Service text messages on January 5th, 2021 and January 6th, 2021, in the pivotal days and the pivotal hours surrounding this unique and horrific American moment? What was the Secret Service saying to each other, to its protectees? Were there any vulnerabilities exposed in January 6th that haven't been discovered or revealed just yet? The committee has been emphatic that it wants to know more about the communications inside the Secret Service on those days, during those hours, and we'll see Wednesday afternoon if they've filled those gaps.
And I want to pick up on something that we heard in that 60 Minutes preview. The final committee report could come by the end of this year. Have investigators uncovered evidence directly connecting the former president to the attack on the Capitol?
That final report will be their final chance to answer that question. The committee has been suggesting, in some cases explicitly saying, wait for the report. That's the definitive findings of the committee. They've been showing what they've found so far in nuggets, in segments, at these public hearings. But the final report is not only expected, it's required, Catherine. The federal legislation that passed allowing the creation of this committee requires a written final report. What's more, if you look at the legislation, it specifies that report was to be submitted 30 days before the committee is to end. So it's possible if this committee wants to squeeze every ounce of time it has at its disposal, it'll wait till early December to release that report, 30 days before the end of the Congress, when the committee most certainly expires. So you can circle on your calendar the first week of December as a likely target date for that report and an answer to your question.
I'll do that. Scott MacFarlane, thank you.